Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today's topic might surprise you, because Alzheimer's isn't what we thought it was anymore. For decades, an Alzheimer's diagnosis has been met with a profound sense of fear and hopelessness. It was seen as an incurable, degenerative condition, what one Harvard expert called a death sentence of the worst kind, where you gradually lose your mind with no way to stop it. The narrative was one of passive waiting and inevitable decline, leaving patients and families feeling powerless. That narrative is rapidly changing. Dramatic advances in testing and treatment are creating an entirely new landscape for understanding and managing Alzheimer's disease. The conversation is shifting from one of dread to one of proactive management, and from panic to a surprising sense of peace of mind. What was once a source of terror is becoming a manageable health condition, much like cancer or heart disease. Here are 5 of the most surprising takeaways from this new era of brain health that are turning the old fearful story on its head. A diagnosis can bring relief, not just panic. It sounds counterintuitive, but for many people experiencing distressing cognitive changes, finally receiving a diagnosis of Alzheimer's is more comforting than frightening. The fear of the unknown, of not understanding why your memory is failing or why daily tasks have become difficult, can be more agonizing than the diagnosis itself. This idea is supported by a recent poll showing that 79% of older Americans would want to know if they are in the early stages of the disease. According to Dr. Andrew Budson, a lecturer in neurology at Harvard Medical School, this desire for clarity plays out in his own practice. The majority of them would leave my office happier than when they came in, because now they understood what was happening to them. Receiving a formal diagnosis provides a name for the problem. It validates a person's experience and replaces the chaos of confusion with a clear, albeit challenging path forward. Understanding the what and the why allows individuals and their families to stop guessing and start planning. Alzheimer's is no longer an untreatable death sentence. Until recently, an Alzheimer's diagnosis came with the devastating reality that there were no treatments to slow the disease's progression. That is no longer the case. A new class of drugs is designed to attack the root cause of the disease in the brain, the buildup of a protein called beta amyloid, which forms plaques that damage brain cells. Another sticky protein called tau then adds to the problem, forming tangles that kill the brain cells and cause cognitive changes. The new treatments aim to remove the amyloid plaques before the more destructive tau tangles can take hold. The FDA has recently approved 2 treatments designed to target the underlying changes in the brain associated with Alzheimer's. While these are not miracle cures, experts say they represent an important new direction in how we approach this disease. For the first time, there are medical options that may help certain patients maintain stability for longer than they might have otherwise. But they are not right for everyone. If you or a loved one is concerned about memory changes, it's essential to consult your doctor or a specialist to understand whether these newer treatments are appropriate and safe for your situation. For the first time, patients have a medical intervention that can buy them more time, allowing them to remain stable for longer than they would without treatment. Getting tested is becoming as simple as a blood draw. One of the biggest barriers to early diagnosis has been the daunting and invasive nature of testing. Confirming the presence of amyloid plaques in the brain traditionally required either a PET scan or a spinal tap, lumbar puncture, procedures that are intimidating, time-consuming, and expensive. This is changing thanks to breakthroughs like the simple blood test Lumipulse, which the source material, dated October 2025, notes was approved in May 2025. This test can detect the biological markers of Alzheimer's, making the diagnostic process safer, cheaper, and far more accessible. Dr. Budson highlights the practical impact of this development. A primary care doctor or neurologist can just order a blood test, whereas a lumbar puncture is a separate procedure that takes extra time and is uncomfortable. This streamlining of diagnosis makes it easier for people to get the answers they need sooner. The new mindset: treat Alzheimer's like cancer. The availability of effective early treatments has inspired a powerful new analogy for how we should approach Alzheimer's. Dr. Budson compares the new process to the modern approach to treating cancer, arguing that early detection is now just as critical. The comparison is potent because it reframes Alzheimer's from an unstoppable force to a treatable disease, provided it is caught early enough. The new drugs work best when administered before extensive damage has occurred in the brain. This creates an urgency for diagnosis that simply did not exist before. Dr. Butson says, "The way I view it, when someone comes in with memory loss, it's like they're coming in with symptoms of a possible cancer. We now know we can treat most cancers quite well if we catch them early. It's the same with Alzheimer's. We need to jump on this quickly to be able to treat it effectively." The new hope comes with new challenges. This new era of early diagnosis and treatment is not without its complexities. Acknowledging these challenges is a key part of shifting from a narrative of fear to one of realistic, clear-eyed management. The problems have changed from inevitable decline to navigating a new reality. For one, there is the emotional weight of a diagnosis. While many find relief, Dr. Budson acknowledges that for some people, an Alzheimer's diagnosis is very depressing and anxiety-provoking. Furthermore, there are practical concerns. Dr. Salomon notes that a positive Alzheimer's test on someone's medical record could jeopardize her job or insurance coverage. These are significant hurdles that individuals and society must learn to navigate as early testing becomes more common. Heavy drinking might be less than you think. While new treatments are hopeful, prevention remains a key focus. A recent study published in Neurology delivered a sobering finding about the connection between alcohol and brain health. The study revealed a strong association between heavy drinking and brain changes linked to cognitive impairment. What was most surprising, however, was the study's definition of a heavy drinker, someone who consumed 8 or more alcoholic beverages each week. This number is likely far lower than what many people would consider heavy. The results were stark. These heavy drinkers were 133% more likely to have brain changes linked to cognitive impairment and died an average of 13 years earlier than non-drinkers. While the study shows an association rather than direct causation, the link is strong enough for experts to offer clear advice. As Dr. Butson states, the safest thing to do is not drink. A new era of proactive brain health. Together, these developments signal a monumental shift in our relationship with Alzheimer's disease. The narrative is no longer one of passive fear, but of proactive knowledge and management. With simpler testing and effective treatments that can slow its progression, Alzheimer's is moving out of the shadows and into the realm of other serious but manageable chronic diseases. This new reality, while not without its own challenges of stigma and emotional adjustment, empowers individuals to seek answers, make plans, and take control of their health in ways that were impossible just a few years ago. It leaves us with a forward-looking question to consider. As early diagnosis becomes the norm, how might this change not only how we care for our brains, but how we plan for our futures? Thanks for being here. Remember, knowledge is power, and now more than ever there is hope. Take care of yourself, take care of your brain, and I'll see you in the next video.